What's up, guys? Hope you're all doing great. All right, about a week ago, I debuted finally a deck tech for my Kess Dissident Mage deck, a Grixis control shell containing some degenerate combos, mostly revolving around the use of Hull Breacher and cards that force your opponent to draw cards, which of course they can't draw, that allows you to generate mana and win the game in short order. And in the aftermath of that deck tech, I actually teased a bunch of games that I played with the deck on Magic Online over the past maybe month and a half or so. And given the fact that some of those games are now moldering in my archives and I'm a little worried about them expiring, I felt it was more than a high time to start in with some of the games and give you guys a rundown of how the deck actually plays out. This game was played back on the 6th of March, so a little over, I guess, roughly a month and a half ago, and pretty shortly after it was put together. It was still being refined at that point. I think the version is maybe 2 to 3 cards different from the version that I used in the deck tech. I think certainly I'll be able to review that when I use an inevitable search effect as this game unfolds. But I think that, I think at least a card, what is a card called? Well, it shows up in this game actually. The black sorcery that kills creatures and enchantments has not appeared in the deck yet, although it does make an appearance in this game. But anyway, I could talk about the deck more at length, of course, than I already have in the deck tech, and I'm sure people who are watching this video are eager for the game, so let's get started with that right away. Kicking it off against this guy, Colossum, and he's actually playing this combo that I've seen quite a bit in recent games, the pairing of Tevesh Tzat, Doom of Fools, and this guy, Rograkh, son of... I'm not going to even try to pronounce these names. Anyway, it's Kobold Warrior. It's like better than the kobolds from Legends, the 0/1s for 0, because it's got First Strike, Menace, and Trample. Most importantly, though, it's got Partner and can be partnered with any commander, and people have been pairing it up a lot with this guy, mainly due to the interaction of that +1 ability, where you can sacrifice another creature or planeswalker to draw 2 cards, which is pretty sick. And if that creature is a commander, i.e. the 0 casting cost 0/1 in your deck, you draw 3. And can get you ahead pretty fast. I've had some trouble against this particular deck, but it usually just comes down to whether or not they're able to get fast mana quickly and land their Planeswalker commander before the game gets underway. And then they've got this very powerful and hard to interact with card drawing engine going the whole game that is can be very, very problematic, particularly for a control-based strategy. So the deck has given me trouble. Obviously, it has fundamental limitations given the fact that it's black-red and has a limited amount of tools. And of course doesn't have access to blue, but black-red can certainly get the job done with the right draw. And speaking of bad draws, of course, I've got a hand with just a Wasteland, a couple of accelerators that I can't cast, so this is an easy mulligan. I believe I'm going first this game. And I redraw this new hand, and it is much better. It's got 2 sources of mana, a Braid for early artifact kill, See the Truth to dig for black mana, Muddle the Mixture to go get mana Drain potentially or some other tool, and a relatively useless Mox Opal, which I'll be throwing away. I wouldn't normally keep Treachery either. It's usually useless against these black-red decks that run this commander set, but at the same time, there is the ability to steal their commander away, the 0 mana one. You can often cut off their card drawing engine at least somewhat, and that can buy you time. So I'm going to throw the Opal back and keep the rest of the hand. He keeps without hesitation. And I'm playing the Volcanic Island here because it may in retrospect not be correct to play the Volcanic Island. It may be better to play Sulphur Falls because I'm not playing anything turn 1, and if he does in fact have Wasteland or Strip Mine, then I have a land that is just simply better. It's an island that comes into play on tap. So it's probably a mistake to do that, and anyway, hopefully it doesn't punish me. All right, he's got a beautiful Prismatic Vista. Look at this thing. It's like an expedition or something. Follows it up with Swamp, Mana Vault. Okay, well, speaking of cards that are extremely powerful when paired with this commander, that is probably the top tier one. And I think the last time I played against this deck, this commander combo, the guy got turn 1 Mana Vault also, and it was really, really rough seas. So I'm extremely glad to have a Braid in my opening hand and can deal with the Mana Vault right away. And hopefully he's just a little mana screwed. Now I top deck Chrome Mox, way better than Mox Opal in this situation, of course, and will give me an outlet for this relatively useless Treachery in a bit. But I'm going to wait to see if, in fact, I draw something better to discard. So I'm going to kill the Mana Vault off right away. It's interesting is also keeping back his commander. A lot of people will just play this commander right away, and I actually appreciate and respect the decision not to play the creature early to expose it to removal and make it more expensive. He plays Witch's Cottage, okay? Not too big of a deal, just like kind of just to come into play tap Swamp. All right, I've drawn Thran Dynamo. And now that I've drawn Thran Dynamo, and I still have no black mana, I decide that the play here, I could cast See the Truth, but I feel like I don't know what his turn 3 play is, but if he plays something like Worn Power Stone or any real type of 2 to 3 mana accelerator, and he could play his commander. The commander's really tough to deal with. It levels up really fast. It's got 6 loyalty. Essentially, the turn it comes into play. Can't really attack it on the ground due to the fact that it produces blockers, and can level up extremely quickly and start drawing cards. So with that in mind, I decide I'm not going to See the Truth. I'm actually going to go get something that's guaranteed, and that's just Transmuting Muddle to go get Mana Drain, so that I'm able to threaten. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't get the opportunity to actually go and search through the deck and let you see the contents, but it should be fairly straightforward. Anyway, I'm getting Mana Drain just as a preemptive play against dealing with his commander in a couple of turns, should he have something like Ancient Tomb in a couple turns. 3 mana. All right, Liliana, the Last Hope. This thing is just a nightmare for a deck like Nin the Pain Artist to face due to that pinging ability. And the emblem actually, I mean, it seems like it takes a long time. It's going to take 5 turns to build up, but I've got nothing going on right now. And a lot of these black-red decks, of course, will play with tons and tons and tons of creature removal by nature of the fact that that's what those 2 colors do, and are quite adept at actually keeping their planeswalkers alive. So Liliana could prove to be problematic. I've got a lot of time to deal with it and plenty of ways to dig in the meantime, but it starts at 4 loyalty, and I've got 4 turns to answer it before I have to deal with nasty ultimates. All right, come on, deck. Let's get some mana. All right, Mana Leak. Well, I'm going to cast See the Truth here, no question. Pay attention to my deck size, too. So 89 cards, the total number of cards should go down by 1 at the resolution of this. I talked before, I think, in a previous video about how See the Truth is bugged online, and it almost certainly is bugged in this game. I'm not aware of it yet because I just started playing with the deck. So we'll see how, if I do in fact flash this card back from the graveyard or recast it from the graveyard, we'll see how it affects the deck. So it should stay at 88. My 3 choices are Mox Opal, came back, Bloodstained Mire, and Jace. This is a no-brainer, of course. I'm just going to take Bloodstained Mire. As powerful as Jace is, I need stuff I can cast. This also activates both Mana Drain and Mana Leak and gets me black mana. So this is just an automatic keep. All right. Not bad. Yeah, it went to 88. So it's functioning correctly there. He untaps. He does nothing here. You'll notice at the end of the turn there, I also I did not sack Bloodstained Mire. Obviously, I want to draw land, but given the fact that Opposition Agent is now in the format, you have to be really careful sacking fetch lands willy-nilly and just letting your opponent have Opposition Agent. It's happened to me a couple of times, and every time I've been able to cover it, either by having instant removal for the creature or having some kind of a counter. But sometimes you don't have that kind of luxury, and you can get really blown out by Opposition Agent. So that's the reason I'm not sacking Bloodstained Mire, even though I'd love to go get the come into play tap blue-black land, the ice land. Or I'm sorry, the fetid pools or something, the one that has cycling. All right, so this turn, just going to tap all 4 of these. And in my opinion, this is probably a mistake just due to Opposition Agent. I probably should have just sacked the Bloodstained Mire while I had Counter Magic up in case he did have Opposition Agent. And since I know what I'm going to get anyway, it's just going to be Underground Sea. And by doing it this way, I actually give him an opportunity to flash out Opposition Agent at some point, potentially, to screw up my Bloodstained Mire sack, depending on what he does. All right. Like, for example, if he were to play Mana Crypt or something, I guess it would be Soul Ring, and I try to play a land, cast Soul Ring or something, and I try to Mana Leak it. I guess it wouldn't happen. So he cast Duress here, and no real temptation to Mana Leak this, mainly because I have 2 counterspells in hand. I don't mind him seeing my hand at all, and I'd rather... What I'm actually really hoping here is he just takes the Mana Drain and leaves me with Mana Leak, and I still have some kind of defense on his turn, particularly because I'm planning on casting Kess, and I want to be able to use Mana Leak to protect her. He does, in fact, take Mana Leak, and his follow-up sort of makes the whole thing irrelevant anyway. He has Mind Twist for 1 with his picture from the Vintage Cube. So both my counters are gone. That's all right. This deck is very proactive anyway. But Liliana are already up to 6, and it's starting to get a little scary. I've got to interact with her quickly. So yeah, I get the fetid pools there at the end of the turn. All right, untapping. Let's see what we get. Dak Faden. Well, interesting. There's no artifacts in play, and as much as I'd love to play Dak Faden and start using it to draw cards and level up, I feel like the play right here makes a lot more sense to just play Kess and use See the Truth to pick up 3 more cards right away so that I've got fuel to feed to Dak Faden. Makes a great deal more sense. So I'm just tapping some mana. And now we're going to pay attention to my cards in the deck. So casting See the Truth should reduce my deck size from 85 to 82, since I basically take the top 3 cards and take them into my hand. But I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked this yet, but I'm pretty sure this number is going to go to 79 based on all the other evidence, which means that 3 random cards from the deck are just going to be plunged into the abyss. Oops, I accidentally clicked. Yep, you can see it right there. Shit, I accidentally clicked forward too much. Oh well. Yeah, so I cast Innocent Blood on him. I think I can actually look at what I saw. So, I'm sorry, not Innocent Blood. I cast Thoughtseize on him post See the Truth. So I drew land and Thoughtseize and what's the other card actually? Thoughtseize, Watery Grave, and I'm missing. Oh yeah, I guess it was Underground Sea. Yeah, so I drew Underground Sea, Thoughtseize, and Watery Grave, and used the Thoughtseize on him, and I see Innocent Blood, Karn Liberated, Bedevil, Feed the Swarm. That was the card I was thinking about. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. So quite a few very, very big and expensive things that he can't play easily. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And I take Innocent Blood out of his hand simply, I mean, he's got a million ways to kill Kess. He's got 2 in hand already. But mainly because Innocent Blood is his cheapest way of interacting with Kess and will prevent him, leaving him with something like Feed the Swarm should prevent him from having any other play. But the problem of the Liliana is still here, and I'm going to have to answer it. So it goes back to his turn. Sure enough, he's going to Feed the Swarm. Take 4 damage. Obviously, Kess returns, but thanks to this Mighty Thran Dynamo, recasting her will be not a problem. And now Liliana at 7 counters already, and I still have not been able to deal with it. And barring some kind of direct burn spell here or a bounce spell, I'm not going to be able to stop the ultimate. So it's going to change the texture of this game quite a bit. Fortunately, my opponent still only has 3 land. Come on, deck. Ooh, all right. Tezzeret, not bad. A bit short since I won't be able, or a bit too late since I won't be able to activate some artifacts and smash into Liliana. But I'm going to play Tezzeret here, untap 2 lands, and I'm just going to play the Kess again from the graveyard. And see me changing my mana here because I want to be able to Thoughtseize him again, since I can do that. Alright. So Thoughtseize, take a gander at his hand. It looks like he's picked up Toxic Deluge as well. Jesus. Yeah, I wasn't kidding about how much removal this black-red deck is playing. And I'm going to take Bedevil here, mainly because if he's going to cast Deluge, then, I mean, I guess it is castable and maybe... Yeah, the reason I'm actually taking Bedevil over Toxic Deluge is because I can still cast Kess pretty trivially next turn, particularly if Tezzeret the Seeker's in play. I've got just infinite generic mana here, so I can just chain cast Kess over and over again if he deluges it away, whereas Bedevil will allow him to actually kill Tezzeret the Seeker, and I really, really want Tezzeret in play because Tezzeret's going to give me searchability and long-term game plans against a number of things. If I'm able to use Tezzeret to get Vidalcan Shackles, then I can use Shackles to hold off the zombie horde for a while, and it should buy me enough time. So with that in mind, I'm going to take Bedevil and pass the turn back. You notice I don't play Watery Grave here, and of course the reason I'm doing that is I want to keep my hand size padded so that when I use Dak Faden, I can actually discard useless cards and hopefully keep stuff that is more powerful. All right, well, I'm fully expecting, like obviously I'm crossing my fingers here, that he will get a little bit greedy and use Liliana to level up again, in which case I can use Tezzeret to ultimate and attack into the Liliana to kill it off after he deluges, inevitably. But he's drawn another removal spell in the form of the Murderous Rider in Swift End. So now he's still got Deluge in his hand. Kess is dead for the second time. And without hesitation, he ultimates Liliana. And this thing is also a zombie too. So it's going to be 2 zombies to deal with. I'm going to need some real help from Dak real fast because I don't have anything else left of consequence in the graveyard. This game's starting to feel a little sketchy now. If I'm not able to deal with the zombies quickly, every turn you get X zombies where X is 2, it's whatever you have plus 2. So he'll get 2, then 4, then 6, and I'll be very likely dead at that point if I'm not able to deal with it. So come on, deck. We really need a land. I mean, not a land. We need some interactivity, not a land. Shit. All right. But on the bright side, I've held both Watery Grave. I held Watery Grave from the turn before, and that will allow me to play Dak Faden and dig two genuine cards deeper into my deck and replace these 2 cards with something good. So in all of my my Dak activations in my life playing with this card, over the last like 3 or 4 years since it came out, maybe it's been a little bit longer, I've used it a million times to draw cards. I believe that this is probably the best activation of Dak I have ever had in my life. Be prepared. Get ready. Prepared to be in awe. Look at this. Target myself. Draw 2. Time Twister, Notion Thief. Unbelievable. Almost double Demonic Tutor. I think Hull Breacher probably would have been a little bit better, but I mean, come on. Like, this is completely insane. Plus, I've got Tezzeret the Seeker to get infinite mana. Throw those two, and unfortunately, I'm able to keep both the cards thanks to holding onto that Watery Grave. It's proved to be a critical decision this game. So, first things first, he's fully tapped out too, which is just glorious. Play Notion Thief. Use Tezzeret to untap those 2 lands. And cast Time Twister. And yes, that means opponent discards 3 cards essentially, draws 0, I draw 14. God, look at all this delicious stuff. Counterspell, Force of Will, some mana artifacts, bunch of counters, copy artifact, just incredible cards left and right. He has no cards in hand. Just amazing. It absolutely, bar none, the best DAC activation I've ever had. Okay, so I'm going to copy the Thran Dynamo. Allows me to ramp out some more mana artifacts here just so I don't have to discard all these things. Play the Divining Top. Now I've got a million artifacts in play too. And I could continue the chain here. I could cast Demonic Tutor, cast a Dimmer Signet, but at the end of the day, I'd rather just keep more mana open. Plus, having a Braid here gives me the ability to protect my Planeswalkers, so I can just kill one of these things at instant speed and lower the number of zombies. So I'm just going to throw away like Spell Pierce and land in the Dimmer Signet since I have plenty of mana anyway. On his turn, he top decks Feed the Swarm, which allows him to deal with the Notion Thief, but of course the damage is already done from that guy. And the zombies come in, and they are both headed for Dak, as he rightfully recognizes how threatening this is. And I really want to keep Dak in play, so I'm just going to Abrade one. And that cuts down the number of zombies I'm going to have to deal with next turn. Alrighty. Full untap, he gets 2 zombies, or 3 now, since it's 1 plus 2. Alright. Ooh, Mystical Teachings, not bad. Just make boatloads of mana now. Tezzeret's just out of control. Just pay 0, make 6 mana. So first things first, I'm going to Demonic Tutor and go get Mighty Hull Breacher. And then, add a ton more mana to my pool. I'm going to deluge away all the zombies to reset the board. Flash out the Hull Breacher. And I can actually target him with this too. So I target my opponent with it. He can't draw any cards because of Hull Breacher. I just make 2 mana. So I've got 7 generic plus an additional 3. That's 10. I have 14 mana total, which is more than enough mana to replay Kess from the graveyard and cast the Time Twister again from the graveyard to draw a million more cards. I've got Tezzeret in play. I'm going to have 8,000 treasures at this point, and dispatching him with the army of treasures is trivial. And knowing what's coming, Colossum packs it in. I thought this was just an awesome introductory game to showcase a bunch of the tools and capabilities of this deck. Looking kind of bleak early against that ultimate, but you can just see how fast this deck can just wrench the game away from your opponent and put you into a completely commanding and unbeatable position. So hope you guys enjoyed that game. I've got a bunch more in the pipeline, and hopefully all the replays cooperate. We will visit those soon. Take care.